Dear students, in my last video I have discussed about the cellular respiration and we have already discussed glycolysis, and you are aware that during glycolysis, which takes place, the phenomenon which takes place in cytoplasm, one molecule of glucose breaks into two molecules of pyruvic acid. We have also discussed the fate of pyruvic acid in absence of oxygen, and in absence of oxygen the pyruvic acid gets converted into ethyl alcohol and carbon dioxide in microorganisms and yeast, and in our muscle cells it gets converted into lactic acid, which causes fattiness. That we have already discussed. Today we will discuss the second phase of the cellular respiration, which follows the glycolysis. That after glycolysis, if the oxygen is present, the next step of cellular respiration starts, and that next step is known as Crypt Cycle, and it is also called citric acid cycle. Citric acid cycle or TCA cycle. TCA cycle. All these three names has its significance. Crypt cycle is after the name of the discoverer of this cyclic pathway. The name citric acid is because the first product of this cyclic reaction is citric acid, and tricarboxylic acid cycle is called because this citric acid contains 3 carboxyl group. This is the carboxyl group, so it is known as the tricarboxylic acid cycle. These three names, it is known by its three names, that is Krebs cycle, citric acid cycle and TCA cycle. This takes place within the mitochondria. But what happens, that we will see in this video. The pyruvic acid formed during glycolysis which is formed during glycolysis gets converted into acetyl coenzyme A. Acetyl coenzyme A. This is formed by reaction of coenzyme with acetic acid. The pyruvic acid first gets converted into acetic acid, then it reacts with coenzyme A within the mitochondria, and then it converts into the acetyl coenzyme A. This acetyl coenzyme A enters into mitochondria, and further reaction of this Krebs cycle takes place within the matrix of mitochondria. The acetyl coenzyme A, in first step, the acetyl coenzyme A reacts with oxaloacetic acid. Oxaloacetic acid. In first step, the oxaloacetic acid reacts with this acetyl coenzyme A, and there is formation of citric acid. Now, a series of reaction follows which runs in cyclic order, and in that series of reaction there are so many intermediate products. There are so many intermediate products, and all these steps takes place within the matrix of the mitochondria. And after so many intermediate steps, the oxaloacetic acid is regenerated, and this pyruvic acid, which is actually formed by breaking down of the glucose molecule, is fully oxidized, and there is formation of carbon dioxide and water. In this way, it is fully oxidized. During this cyclic reaction, there is formation of carbon dioxide and water, and at the end, this oxaloacetic acid is regenerated. This entire reaction, cyclic reaction, takes place within the matrix of mitochondria. Matrix of mitochondria. This matrix of mitochondria contains the essential enzymes required for each steps. Each steps requires a specific enzyme, and these enzymes are present within the matrix of mitochondria, and within matrix of the mitochondria this cyclic reaction operates. Now we should know that how the energy is generated. That is the question, that how there is need of production of energy in the form of ATP, how that energy is generated by oxidation of the glucose molecules. We have already learned that during conversion of glucose into pyruvic acid, there is net gain of 2 molecules of ATP. There is net gain of 2 molecules of ATP. And the conversion of pyruvic acid into acetyl coenzyme A, and the acetyl coenzyme A, the breaking down of the acetyl coenzyme A in this cyclic reaction yields energy rich compounds such as NADH2, FADH2, NADH2, and these energy rich compounds are subjected to oxidation during electron transport chain. The component of ETS, electron transport chain, or the electron transport system, the component of electron transport system is located within the inner membrane of mitochondria, and these energy rich compounds are subjected to oxidation during passing through or during the electron transport system, and this electron transport system helps in oxidation of these components, these energy rich components, and there is formation of energy rich compound ATP. And the oxidation of these energy rich compounds required molecular oxygen, which is taken from the atmosphere. Molecular oxygen. We have studied glycolysis, we have studied Krebs cycle. Oxygen, molecular oxygen was not required in glycolysis. Molecular oxygen was not required even in the Krebs cycle, but the molecular oxygen is required during electron transport system, which is located within the inner membrane of the mitochondria, and it is the terminal oxidation of these components which helps in liberation of energy in the form of ATP, and that phenomenon is called oxidative phosphorylation. This is called oxidative phosphorylation. Oxidative phosphorylation. This oxidative phosphorylation is different from the photophosphorylation. The phenomenon of photophosphorylation takes place during light reaction of photosynthesis. During light reaction of photosynthesis also there is formation of ATP, but in that case the light energy is utilized in the formation of ATP. The light energy is utilized in the formation of ATP. In this case, there is the energy which is present in these components is oxidized with the help of atmospheric oxygen, and there is formation of energy in the form of ATP. So it is known as oxidative phosphorylation. So these are the different steps of the aerobic respiration. During aerobic respiration, first there is glycolysis, there is formation of two molecules of pyruvic acid. By breaking down of one molecule of glucose, this pyruvic acid gets converted into acetyl coenzyme A. The acetyl coenzyme A enters into mitochondria. Then a cyclic reaction which is known as Crypt cycle takes place within the matrix of the mitochondria, and during entire these reactions, that is glycolysis, conversion of pyruvic acid into acetyl coenzyme A, and the cyclic reaction which is known as the Crypt cycle, there is formation of energy rich compounds in the form of NADH2, FADH2, and also there is formation of ATP at certain levels, that is called substrate level phosphorylation. And by these different steps there is formation of energy in the form of ATP. And at the end, this electron transport system is also included in the aerobic respiration, because this system helps in liberation of energy in the form of ATP by oxidation of these energy rich compounds. So that is the entire mechanism of the cellular respiration or the aerobic respiration.